Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about what separates the average from the elite in the gym and why that matters so much when you train. So, I'm going to get straight into it just as per. First thing I see more often than not, this is quite a specific one, but I wanted to say it straight away, is the amount of people that scroll on their phone during an exercise, not in between sets, not on their rest period, whatever, because I'm guilty of that, and I sometimes spend too long doing it. I'm not going to say I don't do that personally, but I've never been on my phone during a set in the gym. One, it's dangerous, and two, you're not focusing on what you're doing, so you're not going to reap the benefits, you're not going to reap the rewards that you usually would, and that's why it's so important for you not to be doing that on a regular basis or at all, because again, you're only hindering your own progress when it comes to that. And yeah, there's no good outcome of that. Obviously some people are busy, they have to work, they have to be on their phones in the gym. I've never understood, there's you can be on your phone in the gym. It's not like there's no phones, but we are in the 21st century. I know some people like no phones, but it is what it is, especially if you have to work. But yeah, that's one thing. The second thing I'd say is intensity. Now, a lot of people won't want to realize this, but they do too much low intensity stuff that they think is going to be really beneficial, say you've heard the 4 sets of 12, that kind of thing. But it goes even deeper than that. It goes than just not pushing yourself. It's a bit different if you're doing loads of reps and you're pushing yourself, like David Goggins style. But some people literally just do 40% of what they can actually do, and that's not good, obviously, because you're not going to make any progress that way, and people will wonder why they haven't made progress through doing that. But if you actually look at it from a perspective of accountability, you'll be like, oh, okay, I didn't put as much effort in as I needed to. But as a result, you need to rest hard as well. So that's why I say to people, don't train more than 5 times a week with weights. That should be the upper ceiling, because you need to rest and recover on those days off, because your nervous system's still human. And unless you're on a performance-enhancing drugs, you're not going to be able to lift as you usually would, or as well as you usually would. Third thing I'd say is exercise choice. Now, I touched on this in one of my short-form videos on TikTok the other day, and it's concluded, well, I said that tricep kickbacks is probably the most useless gym exercise of all time, which I still stand by, because obviously there's no tension when you're doing that, really. Maybe there's some, but it's very, because yeah, it's not a very good movement, just to sum up. But yeah, you need to be careful with your exercises in the gym. It's not to say you can't switch them up, but you have to stick with them for a certain amount of time before you reap the benefits and reap the rewards. A lot of people get bored of exercises very quickly, but the way to fix that is to start doing different variations of things and say, right, so I'm doing, I don't even know, chest press at the moment, flat chest press with dumbbells, right? Start doing incline, start doing decline push-ups, start doing things that still work in the same muscles, but do you know what I mean? You can still do things well, and they're just little changes. Those are quite big changes, what I just mentioned, but you get what I'm saying. Little variations of exercises will do people good. But what I'm saying is you need to stick to a certain program in order to make progress for at least 6 weeks, I'd say. Unless, again, there'll be outliers. It's a lot of things that people say, including myself, because it's just true, generalizations. But I'd rather it apply to most people than none at all. So there will be always exceptions with some people. And if you feel like you train best on 6 days a week, fine. But try 4, try 3, try 5. Try these things that if you've been going to the gym for a long time, you're not making enough progress, do that straight away, get into it. And approach with energy, approach everything with energy, because even if you're bad at something, even if you've never done an exercise before, if you approach it with energy and you approach it with vigor and the correct mentality, you're more likely than not going to progress on it. And that's another thing, your first exercise, people kind of go, oh, that's another thing. It's people kind of go, oh, well, I need to focus on my second and third sets. Don't even think about those. think about your first and only your first, and just attacking it as hard as you can. Don't even think about the next ones, because they don't exist yet. You're just focusing on now. And most of the time, people save themselves when they don't need to. They need to just go straight away hard. And that's why nowadays I've ended up doing 2 sets really hard, and I progressed more like that on most exercises than, because I go so heavy and so intensely, than doing 3 sets or 4 sets. Because in my view, it's pointless to an extent, because you're not being able to recover properly and train hard enough, and you won't progress. But that slightly links to this other point of your first set, like first top set. So once you've warmed up, done all your bits, done your bands if you need to, like I do, I warm up my shoulders quite a lot because they're quite weak. They are for a lot of people. Shoulders are quite a weak part of the body that get injured a lot, especially your rotator cuffs. And once I've done that and I've warmed up and I go into my top set, I will approach that with all my force, because that's the main exercise and the first thing I'm approaching with the most energy, and that's the thing I want to improve, and that's what's going to be better. And if it's not better, I do get a little bit annoyed, but at least you know that you've approached it with all you can do, and that's what's going to make the most progress. It's all a mindset thing when you go into these things. Everything links to mindset, but that is a really good mentality that's worked for me, especially recently in progressing my lifts. Because sometimes, like, especially if you're natural, you have this thought in the back of your mind, oh, I can't go above that this weight, like I'll get crushed or I won't be able to do it. But you can. The body's very adaptational. It adapts so well. Like, I used to be so skinny, and now I'm a lot bigger than I used to be, especially in terms of like pure muscle mass, not even fat. Like I was bulked, but I'm now a lot leaner, and I'm night and day stronger because I've approached the training correctly. And also it's linked to your hormones as well. Like, that's why you shouldn't be training more than like 5 times, because again, as a natural, if you have artificial testosterone in you, it's a bit different. Your body works differently. But if you're natural, your testosterone levels are going to go down, and your nervous system's going to be screwed basically, and you're not going to be able to lift as much as you would be able to usually. Another thing is spotters. Now, this is actually something that both average and elite people do. They get spotters, but you need to get a good spotter, and you need to get someone you can rely on, because you don't, especially when you're pushing yourself, you want to have someone you know is going to be able to lift it off you, especially when you're going heavy. Like, that's a thing that elite people don't actually do enough, whereas average people do better, like in terms of like risk to reward ratio and danger. Like, elite people need to start getting more spotters, especially myself, because I've been that guy who's hadn't had a spotter before, and I could have been in trouble. So yeah, that's another thing ticked off. Another thing is, for particular muscle groups, a lot of people will go over, and this isn't a rule, but it's just my suggestion, and I see this quite a lot. They'll absolutely hammer one muscle group, and then leave another group on the table which could have had more sets or intensity, should I say, either or. You're going to be sacrificing, you're going to be getting more fatigue on one muscle that you don't need, versus losing hypertrophy or strength that you could have increased on another. So basically what I'm saying is, you should be getting no more than 5 sets on one muscle group, in my opinion. Say you're doing like a push day or something like that, and you've absolutely hammered your chest, right? But you haven't really you've done like 1 set on triceps. 1 set's may be enough for some people. That's more for like really elite. But my point is, don't absolutely hammer one muscle group, fatigue the hell out of it, and you won't be able to lift as much for ages, rather than hitting the other muscle groups evenly that you want, especially because you want to improve those as well. You don't want to be having overbearing muscle groups that look freakishly bigger to others. I mean, unless that's your preference, I don't know, but a lot of people don't. So most people want to have a balanced physique. So yeah, I'd say those are the main things. But yeah, keep showing up, being consistent, and that transfers around to everything else. Like a lot of people, when they start out, will go for a couple months and then drop off. Like, you see that, like, January gym goers, but consistency is the thing that turns the pedals. You'd rather be that guy, like I was just saying about how important intensity is. You'd rather be the guy going 60% 4 times a week, 5 times a week, than the guy who's turning up once a month and going 100%, because you're not going to make any progress that way. So despite intensity, that's also true. So yeah, consistency is key. Keep approaching it, and it transfers to everything else as well. Like my discipline in the gym, I've been in it. It's been going for, well, since I was 14. I've been working out since I was 14. Been going to the gym since I was 15, and that discipline transfers to every other aspect of your life, including other things like starting this YouTube channel. I've done a video every single day since I've started, and I won't be able to continue, but I still will be consistent with the channel, because I know I will, one way or another. I'll be posting YouTube shorts, I'll be posting on Instagram, I'll be doing all these things that I know I have to do. Unless something catastrophic happens, but that's very unlikely. Yeah. My point is, you need to have that consistency and kind of turn the wheels constantly. Just keep going. Keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop. There's no point in stopping. So that goes for the gym, and it transfers to everything else as well. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed that. I think that's a good little breakdown of realism, and hopefully it's helpful, because it separates that mindset of like, oh, I'm just starting out, which is absolutely fine. Like everyone starts. Starting's the hardest part. That's why you have to get used to it. But that's like the differentiation between like people who are elite and people who are average, and most people want to do well at what they're doing. So why not think with an elite mindset? That's my approach to it. So yeah, see you later, guys, and hope you all enjoyed the video.